take Western Europe as an example, once upon a time, guns were legal in those places. And there were way more gun deaths if you look into the history of Germany, France, England, Ireland, for example, Spain. But in today's world, where gun ownership is totally illegal, I mean, it's even extremely hard to own antique guns in those places. You see very few to no gun deaths. And then when you do see gun deaths, whether it's mental disability or not, then it's the homemade gun, what's called the ghost gun, that was brought into the country piece by piece, or it was an old firearm that had been laying around someone's basement for decades and it fell into the wrong hands, or it was just recently smuggled in, land border type of thing. Somebody put it in the back of the car or under the car and it wasn't checked and it was brought into the West European countries. So that's why we don't see many gun deaths. But we do see the mental disabled creating havoc with things like knives. Even though in Western Europe, the length of a knife is very heavily regulated. Like it's illegal in England to own a knife that's more than 3 inches long, a pocket knife. So it exempts the kitchen knives. But a kitchen knife can be deadly too, And there have been cases where you've had mental folks who are on subways or trains, and they just randomly take out their knife and start poking people around them, and sometimes in dreadful circumstances. And we see this in East Asia too, where guns are extremely controlled. You're not going to find guns in East Asia. You're not going to find guns in Western Europe, not today. But you still have the mentally disabled people causing problems. But most of the time they don't result in death. Because it's a little more difficult to kill someone if the only thing you've got is a kitchen knife. Because people can defend themselves. And they can defend them, just by the woman throwing up her handbag, or a guy with a briefcase, or, even just pushing someone away from you, or grabbing their arms or their wrist. I mean, the likelihood of getting killed by a knife in a fight is much, much smaller than getting killed by a gun. Because, I mean, a gun, you can get shot and you don't see the person that shot you. Whereas in a knife situation, you're very likely to have a much higher chance of survival.